Okay, I'm back. Back with a vengeance. So, yeah. Electricity supply cut out. The joys of living on a small island when the electricity supply isn't constant. And then, so the Wi-Fi tripped, and then it tried to connect to a dodgy Wi-Fi. It tried to connect to the Wi-Fi that doesn't work very well, the one that's further away, instead of the one that's really strong here. And third time lucky, huh? Technical difficulties. So hopefully third time lucky, and we're back. So yeah, if I miss something in chat again, you'll have to put it up. But hopefully, AP, you got all of your messages in the end about that relationship. I hope so anyway. Hopefully that's the end of our technical difficulties for the day. We're on the good Wi-Fi again. And so yeah, maybe it was just the one Wi-Fi that tripped out, the good one that tripped out, and then so it tried to connect me with the one that's further away. And YouTube was having problems with that because it wasn't fast enough, and it isn't fast enough, that one. So welcome back. Let's wait for everyone to get back on again. So yeah, Dragon, I can't remember your name. You'll need to ask your question again because I didn't get a chance to look at it properly. So AP, I hope that you got your full message then. It's about that relationship wasn't a long-standing relationship. It was more about lessons. For you, the lessons were about communication. So just know that you are following your intuition. If you held back from communicating things, you might have tried to go all in on that relationship when it wasn't, your higher self wasn't really all in on it, so it pulled you back from that. But apart from that, look at your communication skills within that relationship or lack thereof. And yeah, try not to put it all on them because your higher self is saying that there's patterns within you. So just, yeah, use it as a learning experience. Is anyone there? I know that there was a question, something about reality. I really wanted to answer that. So ask that question again. I like the focus for today in the daily read, if you've been watching the daily reads. The focus is exciting for today. It's like imagining lots of support for what you want to do. Imagine if there's lots of people supporting you. Imagine big things happening. Because things can change in a day, you know? It could be, like say with this, like suddenly there could be hundreds of people on it and I could get like lots of private readings in and yeah, it could be huge all of a sudden. That would be amazing. Like I've started this off to because I know that if I do something regularly like this, it builds up. I've done things like this in the past and it builds up. And just stick with it and it grows. I get to know you all, you get to know me. Show you the way that in which I work to see if that jives with you and if it's the kind of help that you need at the moment. Oh, that's a shame. I wanted to answer that question. Hopefully you'll come back on and ask it again. But I can't see anyone in the chat at the moment. Did I lose everyone with the technical difficulties? So I picked my cards for today. My cards for the day are appreciate self and is it true? So I'm going to meditate after this because I need to listen to what my subconscious mind is going on about. So this is saying that I'm having thoughts that aren't really helpful, thoughts about myself that aren't really helpful. So if I go into meditation, which is just like listening to my mind, where my mind wanders off to, hopefully it will wander off to those things, to those the ways in which I'm not appreciating myself. So what this is saying is that I think I'm appreciating myself, but there's things in my subconscious mind that are the opposite of that. And I need to find out what they are to be able to let go of them. And the other cards are up until now move away, so I'm detaching from old stuff that I've done. Old places, old people, old patterns. And that's in line with the card that I picked today. So on the Wisdom of the Oracle, So Wisdom of the Oracle, Colette Baron Reid. This is the card that I picked for today. It's time to go. So this is about letting go of things, making changes, time to make changes. I love Colette's cards, they're really nice. Let's have a look at what the relationship message is for AP with this one as well. It's over, or at the very least, the form of this relationship has taken. It's over, or at the very least, the form this relationship has taken is no longer of service to you or the other person. This is a time of letting go, of knowing that the journey has come to its conclusion. That doesn't mean anything is lost. Although this card could speak of a breakup, drifting apart, or the end of a soul contract, it's more about release than destruction. Remember the saying, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours. If not, it never was. Endings are always a sign of new beginnings. If you want something deeper, walk away. Want to know the prosperity message for this one as well? This message is clear. The path you've been on with your work, creative projects, and business alliances have come to an end. You will not find the success that you desire by continuing with what is now in front of you. This is an auspicious sign because there's no choice that will benefit you other than risking stepping into the unknown. It's time to walk towards something new. This card also pertains to the more neutral concept of completion. You finish your tasks. You can rest assured that this ending will open up a powerful new avenue of opportunity, even better than any you can imagine. You've done all you can. Now trust that Spirit keeps the plan moving forward. Fortune requires you to conclude this chapter of your life. And remember that when you close one door, another door opens. That's cool, right? So today it's time to go. So it's like taking action on those things that you're letting go of and leaving behind. Such beautiful artwork on these cards too. I do really love her decks. This is one of my favorites, the Wisdom of the Oracle. I also have, I think there's like Hidden Realms and Wisdom of Avalon or something like that. They're all really nice. Oh, and there's a map or something deck that's really good too. So I think I lost everybody. Lost everyone with the technical difficulties. That's no good. Because no one's putting, oh, if you're there, then pop up your questions or say hey. Because I think maybe I lost everyone with the technical difficulties. So the power of that Wi-Fi went out, and then my MacBook, it just automatically connected to a Wi-Fi that is further away and hardly works. Isn't strong enough to do something like this. So that was the second attempt, and hey, you're back, yay. I've been back for a while. I've been back for like 10 minutes on this third attempt. But yeah, the Wi-Fi connected to the one that I can't use. It's too far away and it's not strong enough and it's not good enough for these kind of things. So once I figured that out, when I switched to the other one, I had to start again because I don't know, for some reason it didn't connect back to the live. So, King Dragon by God, you asked a question. Ask it again because I can't remember what it was. Yeah, ask it again because I don't remember it. Something about reality. It looked like an interesting question. Coffee. I need to buy more coffee today. I've got enough for tomorrow's. Coffee beans. I'm going to try some new ones today. I know where I'm going to get them from. Are we in an AI construct? Similar. So, reality as I know it. Hey, P, you're back. Yeah, ask your question again, AP. And I'll deal with this other question first. So, reality as I know it is like this. So, this is from what my guides have told me. And it's interesting because I've told you the other day a little bit about my story about having everything. The £250,000 house and the new car and everything that I had everything that society told me, and then it just was boring. Like, this can't be, I had it before I was even 30. It's like, this can't be all life is about, because I don't want to stick around if it is. I don't want 70 more years of this same when I've already achieved it. And so when I started asking those questions, and I was serious, it's like, what's the point? This is boring. What's the point in sticking around and just doing this over and over again? That's when I started meditating, which was the best decision of my life. That's when life changed completely, and all these magical things started happening, like magical things that weren't possible in the logical world. And so it really showed me that reality isn't what I think it is. So an example of that was, I was in this apartment and it had a door downstairs. It was a first floor apartment. So door downstairs, stairwell, door at the top, locks on both of them. And one day I've been meditating, and then I go out, and as I open the top door, and there's something in the middle of the stairs, right? Now, there's only two people. There's only two keys to this place. I had one of them and the owners had the other one. And so later on, like, I checked out what that thing was first. But later on, I called them and said, did you come in and leave a book? It was a brown paper bag and it had a book in it. Did you leave a book for me? And they said, no, I've not been there. It's like, okay. So equidistant between two locked doors is something that's left there. So a brown paper bag with a book in it. Now, this book was pure white cover. It didn't have anything on the cover, anything on the back. It was soft back book. It's kind of a square shape. And in it, it was a book that was written, I can't even remember. It was written a very long time ago. Like, it was ancient. It was an ancient book. And in it were like the laws of the universe. It was such an interesting book. And I read it and then it disappeared. So that experience showed me that reality isn't, and I had other experiences like that too. They were showing me that reality isn't what I think it is, that it's not this logical place where it's just, action and reflections of that action, that there was way more. There's way more involved in it than that. There's a magical component of it, and that anything can happen, and that things can manifest like that. Physical things like that can manifest when I need them. And so the way I see it is, it's all about perception. And so we are these spiritual beings, and we have our minds, so we get to consciously focus. There's an aspect of our mind that unconsciously focuses as well, which we've got to kind of get to grips with. And we have our heart, so we have our emotional energy too, and there are two superpowers. And so that's what we create with, and that's what we get our life experience with. And everything else is just what we perceive. It's just how we perceive the energy. And so we all look at something, we know what that energy is, and we translate it with our eyes and ears and all of our senses into what we think it looks like. And we all seem to have a consensus about that. In fact, we don't know. You don't know whether me looking at this fan, I've got a fan right in front of me here. We could both look at this fan and we translate it differently. And so we don't know if what we see is exactly the same, what we perceive is that exactly the same thing as each other. But we know that this thing that we're both looking at has a common perception that we label fan, right? Same with colors. And this is a thought that I had when I was a kid. It's like, how do we know that the colors that we see are the same as each other's colors? You know, it could be that my red is your blue, but we both look at that and recognize that color and call it red. And so it's all about perception. Same with aliens too. Like, what has that got to do with aliens? Well, we perceive spiritual beings as human beings, right? So I can look at you and your energy, and I will, my perception of the image, what my senses tell me you are as a human being. And so that's how I translate your energy, is to look like and sound like a human being. Now there's other spiritual beings too. And so we look at other spiritual beings and we translate it as a human being. And so it looks like a human being. So there are actually aliens around us. We're perceiving them as human beings because what we do is we look and it's like, oh, it's a spiritual being, it's a human. And so you can open your mind to see what's really there. So you can question that. You can question your translation of all the energy that's around you and say, like, universe, show me what's really there, or show me what's really possible, and see very different stuff. And then that's when you start seeing the differences between people. And it's like, actually, they're not a human being. They look a lot like a human being, but they're quite different. And it's freaky when you start doing that, especially with human beings. So AI construct, similar. Yeah, it's really similar. And of course, we all have our ideas about what reality is. We're not just, it's not just the individual things that we're perceiving differently to each other. The life experiences that we're having are completely different to each other. But our idea of reality is completely different too. It's all very interesting. And so when we open up to that, say you can do that with meditation, you can do that just by asking to be shown even more of what reality actually is. And when we do that, we start being able to interact with it more. We start to be able to create at a greater level, interact with it and create with it. Yeah, I loved my Beetle. It was so cool. Well, when they first came out, those new Beetles, I just adored them. I still do now. If I got a car, I don't need a car here, but if I got a car, I'd get another one. I didn't like the new Beetles as much. I like the bubbly shape of them. AP, would it be possible for you to look into whether Anne loved me, or did I make that up because I wanted to believe that? Okay, you were talking about lack of communication, yeah. Oh, yeah, interesting question. Did they love you in the form of, did they want a relationship with you? That kind of love. I'm getting no from that, but it wasn't wrong that you had your focus on them, on was it? Because this was instigating an expansion in you. So I'm picking up that M was a very respectful person, respecting themselves, and it's like they were showing you that you have that within you too. So yeah, there was an element of projection coming from you, but you needed to have that connection with them. You needed to see them and get something from them. So I was saying about communication. We've got the growth and respect and expansion and transformation cards here, so it was really good for you to focus on this person. But yeah, I'm getting, did they want a relationship with you, that kind of love? No. But it wasn't wrong for you to be focused on that person. So hopefully that helps you there. Is the situation over between you? If you've got what you, yeah, it can be. You can have gratitude for it now, but just take a look. We get attracted to people like this because they've got something to show us about ourselves. And so whatever you were really liking about them, you've got that within yourself. And so take a look at that. Hey, Clint, how are you? Would you like a reading? If you want a reading, Clint, then just pop up a message. Anyone else that's there as well, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you've got any questions, you can ask those. What I do is I connect in with higher selves and answer your questions and tell your higher self what your higher self wants you to know. You're welcome, IP. Yes, I agree. I've seen this or experienced that. Those extraterrestrials are all around. Yeah, they are. We're all different beings, and that's just perception. Again, it's like, what's a human being? It's like, that's just a perception too. And so there's very different kinds of human beings once you open your eyes to it, and you can tell by the looks of them once you're open to that. Until you're open to that, everyone looks the same. It's like if you think that there's only like 10 different animals in the world, there's a butterfly, there's a dog, there's a cat, then if you see, say, a raccoon, you're going to think it's a dog, right? We have like this blinkered vision of what we think is reality. And if we're only aware of certain things, then we look at something, and even though it's not that thing that we think it is, we think it is. It's like it's similar enough to that energy imprint that we've got that we look at it and we translate it into dog. And it's not a dog, it's a raccoon. And so it's as we expand our awareness of what is possible, of what is really there, can we start seeing things as they really are. How can you time travel? Woo! Well, we all do that. We do it every night when we sleep. Our dreams. Are you asking how can we time travel in our particular reality, in our waking reality? You probably are. We do it all the time. How can I get out of this time-space continuum that we seem to be in when we're in our waking state? I'm not sure that's possible. But anything is possible. This is a thing, this is all a construct. It's our own perception. And so can we open up our awareness of what's possible wide enough to be able to time travel? In fact, we do. Have you ever had an experience where, say you're manifesting something, right? I'm trying to think of an example of this from my life. But say you're manifesting something and it comes into being, and then when you realize that like 5 years ago there was an aspect of this. There was something that was like laid, like part of that pipe was laid 5 years ago. And it's like, well, but I only just asked for this thing 6 months ago. So how come an ingredient for this manifestation happened 5 years ago? Well, that's because time isn't real. It's all happening now. And so it's hard for us to get our heads around that because we're locked into this experience that we're having, this waking experience that we're having is locked into that time thing. It'd be way too confusing for us if we didn't have that. We're here to have physical experiences, and time allows us to grow. It allows us to reap in a slow way, reap the results of the energy that we're putting out so that we can be aware of the energy that we're putting out. It's a slow kind of progression here for a reason, because it's how we learn. So yes and no to that. Give you something to think about though. Time travel. Since you're working on delivering from higher self so beautifully, can the higher self incarnate into a robot AI? I don't think so. I think we always inhabit a biological body. Yeah, I think we always inhabit a biological body. Do we? We're always in spirit form, and we can be in multiple biological bodies at the same time too. So there could be like other versions of you here on this planet at the same time. So it's not like we go from spirit to human and then back to spirit. We're not just in one place at a time like that, because this time thing, it's not real. It's not real. Yeah, multiples. Higher self in the fifth dimension. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about. Of course, things like this, third, fourth, fifth dimension. It's just labels that people are putting on it. It's ideas that people have had. I've never connected in with that. I've never really understood what people are saying when they talk about fifth dimension and stuff. To me, it's just like here and there. It's like there's higher self and then there's here. So there's just two. And of course, you can open yourself up with awareness to anything, really anything. You're welcome. So Clint's question was, how can I time travel? Go to sleep, dream, open up your awareness. Open up your awareness to how you have, like how things that you're asking for and manifesting now have actually been instigated previously. It seems like it's changed the past. Okay, that's been an hour altogether. Yeah, I think we are, because time isn't real. Time isn't real. So if anyone would like a personal reading, then in the description box to this, there's a link to get those. Visit my website, behealing.com, check out what I do, my blog and everything. Check out my daily reads, my weekly reads, and I'll see you all tomorrow. It's giving us something to think about. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.